Hypixel Skyblock, a game that was released on the Hypixel network in June of 2019, has had its fair share of money-making methods and updates in the time that it has been in prototype. One of these methods or ways includes a librarian, and is the entire reason this video was made. Introducing an absolutely broken money-making method using Bingo, the Dedication 4 grind, worth over 100 million a book. Now let's start the profile. I started the profile as soon as I could, so I would have as much time as possible to grind the library and trade offers, which for some reason wasn't working for almost 15 minutes. After going to a small server, I eventually got into the new temporary profile that I would be spending about 20 hours of my life on in the next 7 days. Once the profile was started, I went to the hub and then back to my island to collect my cobblestone minion. And then I started the profile like any other. Break a tree. Craft a tool bench, and then make the basic tools and head off to the preparation stage of the game. To begin preparing this method, I went straight over to the librarian so that I wouldn't click on any other NPCs by accident. The hardest part about this challenge, after that, to the mines I went. Started an hour-ish long process into getting Hypixel Skyblock level 5 while semi-preparing for what is to come. I mined some ores in the gold mine so that I could grind gold and iron to eventually upgrade my tools for the deep caverns. Eventually, I got enough ores to make most of the main tools in their golden form. Before I could do that, I had to go back to my island, make a furnace, and smelt all of the materials into their ingot form. Once that was done, my main objective was to make an efficiency 5 golden shovel to instantly mine a bit of sand for some money before going into the garden. I also brought along an iron pickaxe so that I could go collect some diamonds and upgrade my tools for the last time. I made all of the tools and eventually made my way over to the deep caverns. I traversed my way through each layer in the deep caverns, getting combat levels along the way, but eventually getting myself a diamond pickaxe and some emeralds for a talisman later, which I would then enchant at the librarian with experience 3 and then efficiency 5. Which allowed for me to grind levels whenever I pleased. I soon on my way over to grind some wood near the lumberjack's hut. But not until after I got my 5th and final fairy soul, which I needed for a bingo challenge I did while also doing this librarian strat, which I will have a video on it soon. I decided to grind out a few foraging levels to push myself right to that Skyblock level 5 barrier. At about a full inventory of sand and wood, I made my way back to my island and decided that I would need some minion. The minions that I decided to do were some sand minions. One reason for this choice was because I didn't really know what minions to put down. Nothing mattered for this method, and I was just throwing down a minion that I could get for sand collection, which was one of the tasks. I made my sand minions to about like sand 5 or 6 so that if I wanted to, I could maybe push getting a tier 12 minion for a task, which I never even ended up completing. And then skip a bit of time, I went to the farming islands and decided to make a few cow minions to increase my leather collection to finally get the agronomy sacks, which will increase my inventory by almost 3 times at just the medium size, and that was a huge deal. I equipped all of my minions I just placed down with the medium storages I had, and then went to go attend a God Splash. At this God Splash from the Bingo Brewer Discord, I became equipped with the potion effects of a God Potion, after which I then made another diamond pickaxe. But this time, instead of being smart, I decided to put Silk Touch on it, which was absolutely useless. I then also put experience on it as well. I don't know what I was thinking. Then, I jumped into the fields for the first time, gaining tons of farming levels and getting both money and Skyblock XP in the process. After getting a couple of backpacks full of seeds and quite a bit of hay bales to craft a couple of items, I started selling them as you just see right now. And it was just to add a couple bit of coins because I have to buy a lot of biofuel soon. Along with that, I had almost 2 full backpacks full of seeds to create stuff in the garden, as well as tons of hay bales to create my first armor set. In order to do this, I headed over to the barn, farmed a little bit to unlock the armor set, crafted a bit of hay bales, and then proceeded to craft my very first set of farming armor for just 24 hay bales. After which, it gave me quite a bit. I struggled with the crafting recipe. It was my first bit of farming fortune. It was going to be what I ended up entering the garden with, even though I ended up doing another upgrade, which I could have done another one. I proceeded to farm cows, which I needed to unlock leather collection, which I needed to get to like tier 4 or 5 to unlock enchanted leather, which allowed for me to craft the agronomy sack, and then I would upgrade it to medium for 48 total enchanted hay bales. As you're seeing, I'm crafting the first version now, which was huge. It didn't do a lot. It was like half of my inventory plus my full inventory already, but the second version almost doubled it. Yeah, you heard me. Doubled. Now I'm checking out the events calendar. I talked to Jacobs. I was doing a ton of Jacobs contests, a bronze medal, and a farming level just on top of it for fun. Then another bronze medal. And I think about midway into bingo, Finnegan became the mayor, so it actually became super easy. I could do like 11 minutes of a contest and get bronze. But yeah, I got 8 medals. We're going to ignore that, why I didn't buy like a pumpkin dicer. But as you can see, now I'm farming pumpkins back over at the barn to get us seeds, which I was going to fill up another backpack or two whenever it came time. And then I headed over to the desert settlement, which would allow for me to farm sand efficiently and make a ton of money before heading over into the garden for all that biofuel. Stack after stack of it, I thought I was getting closer. I was thinking that I would maybe reach the 60k sand collection I needed, and I kept upgrading my minions after I grinded, and I was getting a lot of coins. Don't get me wrong. But then I realized, oh, to turn them into an enchanted form in your minion, you need a super compactor. So I gave up on that. And then it became garden time. It only took about 9 minutes in editing, but it is finally time to talk to the stranger on my island at Skyblock level 5 to actually start making money with this method. It caps at well over $1 billion if you can maximize efficiency. So now that I'm in the garden, I've talked to Sam, and now it's time to start doing some tasks. Of course, it took me 15 or so minutes because I wanted to be authentic. It'd been a while since I did it. But to save you some time, she will ask for 25 wheat. One of the first things she asks, you get quite a bit of Skyblock XP, which at the really at that point doesn't matter at all because you've already done all you need. Now at this point, you're just gonna want to farm garden levels, and as you can see, I've got to buy biofuel, which is why you had to save up money, costing 20k a piece. And it does 1.5 compost per. and you will need quite a bit. I think you need 6. I ended up using like 6 or 14 my entire time on this profile is how much I had to actually spend. So you're going to need quite a bit of compost, and money doesn't come very hard considering you're farming, and you can sell that for quite a bit of money to the NPC. But we've bought a plot at this point, and you just got to start clearing with Sam's scythe. And after she asks you to craft the biofuel, she'll, of course, we're clearing the plot, and then she'll ask you to visit the visitor stand with her, and she will give you 5 bread that you give to Jerry for your first visitor, and then from there you start farming garden levels. We're just about at the point where I've finished this plot, this first plot, and there we go, it's done. So then I can go back with my multiple backpacks full of seeds, which I think I did a little bit overboard. You talk to Sam, you get everything sorted out, and then you set your plot, which I just skipped over. Then you're over at Sam in the visitor's booth. You got 5 bread, and then you give Jerry the bread, and you've now officially done your first visitor, and you are now set for life. This will be the future of your entire profile. As long as you don't click on too many NPCs, life will all be good for you. But there will be a few you need to talk to. After this encounter, I had to make sure that my backpack was full yet again. And I had everything in my inventory full of seeds, a couple backpacks full. I had to check and check again. And as you fill the plot with seeds, you will need to go into your backpack and start filling up your inventory again, which is a little bit of a tedious process. It's fine. If you can only get partial of a plot done, what you can do is wait for it to grow, farm everything from that plot, then you'll recollect it, put it in your backpacks, and then regrow what you just farmed as well as plant a little bit more. It's amazing, it helps. And then you're along on your path. As you can see, I'm farming wheat now. About every 1.5 of these full things, these little areas, I'll go back, put it onto my backpacks, and then I will redo it. As you can see, I'm getting close to a full backpack of seeds as we speak. So then I'm going to compact all my wheat into hay bales, which I'll eventually make into enchanted hay bales for future armor sets and future upgrades, such as the agronomy sack, because I will need a ton of enchanted hay bales to make these upgrades. After you get about a full backpack, usually that's what I ride with. With the full area and a half, I'm fine with that. As well as in crafting enchanted seeds, which is one of the best items to put into the composter, along with biofuel to create compost, which allows for you to get more plots. For me, I was going to start working towards pumpkin and then eventually sugarcane, but that isn't for now. At this point, I'm doing a couple of more Jacob's farming contests. Right as we speak, I'm getting myself another bronze, so that's amazing for me. 10 Jacob tickets is huge because that's 100k to the NPC. And the reason that I sell everything the librarian, which is kind of off topic, is because then I don't have to click on any other visitors. But as you can see, I've now bought my second plot, and I'm going to finish clearing that out, which then will allow for me to either put pumpkins or carrots on, because it's going to help me get more milestones, which will get me to garden level 5 faster, which not only unlocks sugarcane, but it unlocks the librarian visitor. Before then, I can't get it, so this entire method is just being thrown away. So I'm speedrunning garden level 5. That's my main goal, and then I can worry about all the side quest stuff. That's the entire thing for me. So one of the fastest ways is to unlock more plots, because that will allow for you, yet again, to get more milestones. But for me, I'm going to start doing my pumpkins, because I've unlocked that. I'm high enough garden level. And then I'm going to need one more crop after this, which we'll get to. to actually get to garden level 5, I'm at garden level 3 or 4 at this point whenever I'm placing down pumpkins, so I'm feeling good. This was not even that far in. This was probably less than 30 minutes in. And I'm really, really feeling myself at this point because I have around a quarter of a pumpkin field placed down so that I can farm those. And the thing about pumpkins is you don't need the advanced gardening axe to farm them because the stems aren't what you farm the pumpkins. So the stems stay there and you don't have to replant. So it's a big, big deal for me. I could have also bought a basket of seeds, if you know what that is. And I would have just been able to replant, but the advanced gardening hoe has replenish 1 on it, which we'll be getting to in a little bit. And it is one of the purchases you must make because you're going to need wheat. Pretty much all of your upgrades revolve around wheat somehow. The only upgrade you might not have it is if you go and you really try hard, you could get melon armor, and that revolves around a ton of melons, which I never do. But after farming a bit of pumpkins, I actually wonder myself, wait, what am I doing? So I realized, oh, I can craft the next armor set. So that's exactly what I do, which ends up being the last armor set I will craft as far as for farming, which I could have ended up doing melon. I didn't know something that we'll explain later, so stick around for that. But yeah, now I have an upgraded farming set, the farm suit, which I actually already crafted the boots by accident once, quick crafting, so I accidentally crafted a second pair there. Afterwards, I decided to place down a carrot farm so that I could get a quick bit of garden XP, as I was getting super close to garden level 5, and all I really would need to do was to get a couple of levels, and then I would be able to finish it off with pumpkins. But I checked a couple visitors. I had to fill on most of a backpack up with some carrots, and then I'd have to wait for them to grow. I only got to around half a plot down, but it was enough for me to really just be able to get a couple milestones on it. And then I'm back to pumpkins, which I was getting so close to garden level 5. So we're getting there. And I just needed a little bit more, probably like another strip or so. I'm gonna keep on going, and boom! Tier up to garden level 5, which would then unlock the librarian and the sugarcane crop. As you can see, I'm buying biofuel here now to unlock the plot for sugarcane that I needed, and I would just have to wait quite a bit of time, as compost does take a while. And then I went back to the hub to farm some wheat, as I just finished another contest, because at this point Finnegan was mayor, so it just became to the point where this was almost nothing. An advanced gardening hoe that I had gotten, which automatically had replenish 1 on it, and I also enchanted it with some extra farming fortune, which was just for the leisure. And then as you can see, I'm crafting some enchanted carrots for some quick money, because they sell for quite a bit, as well as for a potential customer. I have Jerry here, and as you can see, I'm going to be giving him some carrots here. So I just got some copper, which would then allow for me to go buy those advanced gardening tools, which is a big deal for me. Both the hoe and the axe I would end up needing, just because the axe would give more farming fortune, and the hoe was really necessary because it allowed for me to farm both wheat, carrots, whatever other crops I may end up laying down. I didn't really need any, I just needed to farm sugarcane. As you can see, we're gonna unlock the sugarcane plot. So then I just had to clear it out. And man, the clearing plots is a pain. Now it's clean. Of course, it took a lot longer than what editing shows, sadly. But then we're back at the garden entrance. And then we can lay down sugarcane, which sugarcane actually is really, I mean, not a lot goes by. It's 2.5 stacks per row, so actually like a lot of sugarcane is needed. So I did not get very far. I didn't grind a lot because it's actually pretty tedious to grind as far as in the desert settlement. So it's actually pretty hard to grind. And as you can see, sugarcane, I got some more sugarcane after it grew, and I replanted even more, which made it a lot easier. Even at that point, I had a full backpack full, so I was getting close to having an entire thing down. Checked the librarian, and I just accepted it. I accepted it because it gave me a turbo pumpkin book, which I could just slap on my gardening axe for an extra 5 fortune. But along with that, we have crop upgrades, which I upgraded for both pumpkin and sugarcane, because those would end up being my primary ones. I went back and got a second tier because 5 and 10 copper isn't that bad. After that, I ran across even another librarian, and on my first day alone of really tryharding this, I had over 70 visits. Visit after visit. Nothing seemed to be working. I mean, I was really, really, really sad. I mean, even the website really just didn't show a clear rate. It seemed like I could only get turbo crops for such a long while. Until I talked to Jacob. Yeah, I really don't know what you were expecting. I had also added him as another NPC, so I really needed to be careful about what other NPCs I talked to. I also ended up talking to NPCs like the Fearmonger by accident by opening up his shop after a spooky festival, even though I didn't actually talk to the NPC. It ended up registering him as an NPC, as well as I needed to eventually talk to NPCs to get some talismans for a quest, as well as a couple of other ones that I thought would be okay. I ended up eventually having 5 common NPCs, meaning if I clicked on one more, it was all over. Eventually, I was so scared about my rates that I started buying things for like 400k, turbo cacti books, cocoa bean books, and honestly, I wasn't even worried that this video, the 5 hours of recording that I ended up having, wouldn't even be worth making a video on. Declined again and again. It all looked south until I randomly checked one time and I found this. A Cultivating 1 book. A good drop worth around 4 million. And a revived hope that maybe, just maybe, I could drop a Dedication 4 book. It was such a big deal to me, because I had really just lost hope. I had lost so much hope, I had pretty much given up on grinding sugarcane. I couldn't even afford the Dedication 4 book if it had showed up, just because I thought it was a waste of time at that point. I thought all the odds were against me, and just whenever I thought it was over, I crafted an enchanted sugarcane the next day. And what came? Shocked me. A Dedication 4 book. I bought it instantly. It was the craziest thing that ever happened. I just doubled my net worth. This thing sold for 125 million coins on the bazaar. So of course, me, being me, went straight over to my profile and said there's no way I accidentally don't transfer this in time. I didn't know there was extra time at the time, so this was crazy. So I went straight to the transfer menu, and that Dedication 4 book went right into that menu. For the first time in forever, a video actually went right for me. And that thing was sent over to my profile, never to be worried about, and now I had just done it. I went back to the hub, And I got ready for what the end of the event, because it was approaching more rapidly than I ever could have imagined. I said my goodbyes, I went over to Metal Convert, I had to go claim all my metals first, and I had to go buy my actual thing with my golden metal because the profits were unreal. It was time for my dream to come true and actually be worth something in Skyblock. This video came solemnly from that book on the last day, which I didn't realize you could actually grind after. So for me, this was like crunch time. And it was bigger than you could have ever imagined. I looked through my options on the shop, and I realized it really didn't matter at this point. So I just went with something that I didn't have on my main profile. And it was really dumb of me, because I could have bought a pumpkin dicer, a wheat hoe, a sugarcane hoe. I could have bought anything that would have just helped me along the way. But like all good things, it eventually must come to an end. So I got ready to transfer all of my items, which some of them were worth like 400k. And I got ready to transfer all of my books over to my main profile, where I would claim them and double my net worth in just 10 minutes. Which actually didn't even take me that long to claim. But it comes just as fast as it went. Really, the only thing over 1 million that I transferred were the Dedication 4 book, the Replenish book, the Reforge Anvil, which I had to use, and the Fungi Cutter that I bought with the golden metal. Nothing else was over 1 mil by itself. So it was a big deal. For me, just that one book just sent me over it. And all the stuff together were double my net worth. And as soon as I could, I got onto my main profile, went over to Jerry, and claimed all my rewards after the timer had ended. I mean, after about 20 hours of grinding, I had just done what I thought was the impossible. At the end of the day, this marks the end of both the video and an era. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I'm really kind of a new channel to all this. This took me over 70 hours to make. So, I spent 70 hours. It takes you 5 seconds to hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell, and like the video. So I think that's a fair trade. That is all for now. Good luck with this method, and peace out for now.